Thanks. Actually, it is listed as the idea consultation on November 2007, right here.
Oh, okay.
So it is actually listed on here. The basic idea for the idea consultation is, I'm the head judge for the business plan competition. And every year, students pour their life's blood and hours into these business plans. And I look at the plan and say, oh, why didn't you come and spend 5 minutes talking to me before you threw 100 hours down the toilet on this? You know, if you'd spent 5 minutes talking to me, we could have just nudged the idea from here into here and put you into a more profitable, successful track. Or, geez, you know, if you'd only, come and talk to me a month ago, we could have helped you, change what your overall objectives were, or something like that. And so what we're trying to do with the Start Me Up program is rather than just saying, go out there, write a business plan, pour dozens and dozens of hours into this thing, and then, the judges are going to make fun of it in front of a bunch of other people. We want to help you out so that by the time you get in front of the final judges, it's the best possible plan that you're capable of having. So we want to provide much more support during the course of the entire year, rather than just waiting until the last week and then going, nah, we're not going to let you present, or nah, we don't like that one as much as this other one. There's only so much input that the judges can have on that final day of the event. And we've got a whole year here to help you with that. Fair enough?
Is Thursday our only opportunity to get that advice?
I believe that if you look at that thing, that there's going to be several idea consultations. So there's another one in February.
Oh, okay, so it's the same opportunity. It's not like a progression, like, sometimes you have to go to the first one.
Yeah, you can come to the first one or the second one. Now, obviously, if you go to the first one and get some help, and then you go back and work on it a little bit more, by February, it'll be a much better idea.
Yeah.
And you'll get yet more valuable feedback the next time through. So, you need to let Prem disappear. Who's running this event? You need to let somebody know that you'd like to present something at the idea consultation, but you don't have to have a PowerPoint presentation. It could be just kind of well, I've got an idea, and here's what I'm thinking about doing. What do you guys think? And the judges can go, well, can you describe a little bit more exactly what pain you're trying to solve? And you can kind of sort of dance around that for a little bit and go, I'm still unclear on who the customer is. Can you articulate that a little bit more? And that can just kind of help you out as well too, just kind of really, getting a better idea of just who your customer is and what the pain is. I've been astounded at, I teach a couple of different courses on how to write up a business plan. And I've been surprised at how many students have had 5 marketing courses. They show up in my class and they don't know who the customer is. I mean, that should be pretty basic, who's the customer. But yet, a lot of students have had 5 marketing classes and they don't know who the customer is. So, sometimes there's a big difference between kind of sort of what professors like to teach about, the marketing plan, the 4 Ps, and all these broad concepts, and it's like, no, cut through all that BS. Just make sure you really, really understand what it is that you're doing and who the customer is, and start from there. So there's kind of a big difference between kind of sort of the academic approach to it versus the real world approach to thinking through how to start a business. So, were you concerned about standing up and presenting in front of other people? Okay, well, I think one of the rookie mistakes that a lot of entrepreneurs make is they like to think that, my idea is so important that I can't tell anybody else what my idea is.
Oh, yeah.
That was you. Okay. You're afraid other people are going to steal your idea? My suggestion is if you're afraid somebody's going to steal your idea, don't start a business. Don't get a job. Because the only way to make your business successful is you got to talk to everybody about it. You got to talk to your family. You got to talk to your relatives. You got to talk to customers. You got to talk to investors. You got to talk to your friends. You got to talk to professors. You got to talk to everybody about it. Now, don't tell them what your secret sauce is, right? Don't disclose your patentable idea, right? So you hold some stuff back, but you got to be talking to people about it, because until you talk to 100 people, you don't really know what you're thinking about anyway. It seems like it might make sense up here, until you try to articulate it to somebody else. Then you realize, they go, what? You go, well, blah, blah, blah. And they go, I still don't get it. Well, you could either say, oh, well, he's too stupid. The idea is you didn't really understand it as well as you thought you did. So until you can articulate it to your mom in a way that she gets, your customers aren't going to get it either. See, your mom loves you. She's going to try to pay attention. The customer doesn't even want to pay attention. But they'll never admit that they don't get it. They'll just sit there and go, oh yeah, I'm very interested. Yeah, sure, why don't you write me a bigger proposal and spend a lot of time? But what they're really saying is, I don't know what you're talking about, and I'm never going to buy from you. How fast can I make you go away so you'll get the heck out of my office? Because they won't admit, I don't know what the heck he's talking about. Some kind of e-commerce platform, web thingy that, I'm an old fart, I don't know what the heck he's talking about. But they'll never admit it. And until you try to talk it through with several hundred people, that's where you get all the questions, so you really get to know what your idea is. Any other questions about the idea consultation thing? So the goal is to help you. It's not like the Dragon's Den. We're not going to make fun of you or anything like that. Our goal is to add value, which is actually way more difficult. Because, did anybody watch the Dragon's Den?
I saw it last night.
Oh, isn't it? Oh, man. It's like, I don't get it, I'm out. Well, I'm sorry, but as a professor, you can't get away with that. Because your students go, excuse me, help me. You're my professor. You're teaching me a course on how to start up a new business. So I'm sorry if you don't get it, but help me figure out how to get it. So professors can't get away with just going, I don't know anything about women's lingerie, I'm out. Well, sorry, I don't know anything about women's lingerie either, but I got to figure it out to be able to help the student because that's what I'm paid to do. So that's what we're going to do in the idea consultation is help out as much as possible. Any other questions about that, the Start Me Up program in general? Okay, so I got an hour to kill before the pizza gets here. Just kidding about that, I'm not going to kill time. The topic of the presentation is I think they called it How to Work a Room because they thought that was going to attract more people. But it's really about networking, which is a little bit different than just how to work a room. This is an event put on by Site, Ryerson, and it's part of the Start Me Up program. But it's also affiliated with the Ontario Partnership for Innovation and Commercialization, OPIC. And OPIC has not only helped finance the Start Me Up program, but they've also helped finance the development of basically an online program on how to write a killer business plan. So we've spent a lot of money to develop a program which is available through Ryerson. I think it's $50 and you get your money back at the end. So yes, you got to go through it, but so it's $50 to show that you're serious. And it's how to develop an idea, how to write a business plan. So you can take it in the evenings. We give you a mentor. So that's another thing that's available to you through the Start Me Up Ryerson program. Obviously, we're here at Ryerson University. I'm a professor in the Department of Entrepreneurship. I'm Steve Gideon. So, yeah. Oh, I thought you had a question. Like, who the heck's Steve Gideon? I'm just here for the pizza, right? Like, is he done yet? Where's my pizza? I don't know. My friend, did she drag you here? Yeah, you dragged me. He was great last week. You should have seen him. So you're skeptical. I can tell by the look on your face. Oh, you were here too? And yet you're still skeptical. We're going to talk about body language. Body language screams out what you think of the other person. When you sit there looking at the person, what you're saying very loudly is, I think you're boring. That's what your body language is giving out. So we're going to talk about body language and networking and how to work a room. I'm on my third career, actually. My first career was as a propeller head. I think that's the official term. I have a degree in propeller headness. PhD from MIT in engineering. And it's so big, I had this massive propeller. And I had a 10-year career as a scientist, as an engineer. And I developed new technologies and wrote patents and stuff like that. All the stuff that engineers and scientists do. And then I discovered, that's really not the source of happiness. It's not really where people make a lot of money. It's not really technology, it's the management of technology. It's the sales of technology. It's the administration and management of it and stuff like that. So I went back to school as if, 9 years of university education wasn't enough. I went back to school to get my MBA. So I now have 13 years of university education. Oh, thinking, my God, I hated my first 4 years, only 13 years. I got an MBA, and I started my second career as an entrepreneur and venture capitalist. So I've started up several venture capital firms, several new companies. I've started several nonprofit organizations. The biggest company that I was the CEO of was publicly traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange, cross-listed on NASDAQ and the London Stock Exchange, with 26 subsidiaries in 15 countries. We own 5 gold mines in Ukraine and a scandium mine and stuff like that. The largest venture capital fund I started was a $100 million US corporate venture capital fund based out of San Diego. The most recent company I started up was a 3D technology company where I raised 6 rounds of financing. And then I decided that being a CEO was going to put me into an early grade. So what do? Call back to the womb, right? Academia. So I became a professor of entrepreneurship to tell people, A, starting up a business is hard. Starting up a business is very, very difficult. But I'm loving being a professor. I've been a professor here now for 2.5 years. And I'm the faculty advisor for SITE. So, when they need somebody to do a talk on networking, they go, who has more business cards than the entire rest of the faculty combined? Steve Gideon. Maybe he knows something about networking. So I get roped into doing these things. So let me tell you a story about networking. I was looking for a job one time. And I thought, I'm a pretty nice guy. I've got a PhD from MIT. I've got lots of experience. I've got over 100 publications and patents. And I started applying for jobs. Guess how many resumes I sent out for this particular job search? Various executive recruiting firms. Start throwing out some numbers. Keep going. 300. I sent out over 300 resumes. Now this is before the days of email, right? So each one was handwritten, right, signed. I mean, not all handwritten, but each one was different. Mail merge. What the heck's that? Right? There was no mail merge. Everyone was individually crafted. 300 resumes. I got a PhD from MIT. That's pretty impressive, I thought. I had international experience. I lived in Venice, Italy. Handsome guy. Who wouldn't love me, right? Guess how many job offers I got from this? Come on, go down.
2.
0. Only one of them even bothered to have the courtesy to say no. The other 299, you hoser. We're not even gonna bother to say no. We're not even gonna bother to let you know whether we got the thing or not. 300. I was looking at advertisements and papers. I was going to trade shows. Nothing. That's pretty scary. I'm thinking Monster.com would have given me even lower return on it.
They say you're overqualified.
They didn't say anything! They didn't even return the damn things! They didn't even say, bugger off, you loser! They did nothing. 300 of them. And I had to pay for postage and everything too, right? So, when I was made CEO of this publicly traded company, guess how many resumes I sent out for that one? 0. Guess how many other candidates they interviewed for? 0. They just called me up on the phone. They said, Steve, we want you to be the CEO of this company. Can you start tomorrow? I didn't even interview for it. They just called me up and said, we want you. That's pretty nice, isn't it? You think it was because they saw my resume online somewhere? You think it was because they said, oh yeah, we've heard about you. Yeah, right. It's because they knew who I was. I'd networked with them previously. How about that VC fund in San Diego? You think I sent, there was somebody saying, hey, I got $100 million kicking around. Let me put an advertisement in the paper. Who wants $100 million to play with? You think they advertised this in the newspaper? I think the Globe and Mail had a big, advertisement looking for somebody to play with the $100 million. Nah. I didn't even send them a resume. They never even saw a resume. They gave me $100 million to play with because they knew who I was. I had networked with them previously. And there were no other candidates.